In this video, I'm going to discuss the basic methods or patterns for making economic studies. So there are 5 methods or patterns for making economic studies, and first up is the rate of return or ROR method. So the rate of return on the capital invested is given by the formula rate of return is equal to the net annual profit over the capital invested. So the rate of return is a measure of the effectiveness of an investment of a capital. It is a financial efficiency. When this method is used, it is necessary to decide whether the computed rate of return is sufficient to justify the investment. The advantage of this method is that it is easily understood by the management and investors. We have here an example. An investment of 270,000 can be made in a project that will produce a uniform annual revenue of 185,400 for 5 years and then have a salvage value of 10% of the investment. Out-of-pocket costs for operation and maintenance will be 81,000 pesos per year. Taxes and insurance will be 4% of the first cost per year. The company expects capital to earn not less than 25% before income taxes. Is this a desirable investment? So the rate of return is given by the formula net annual profit all over the capital invested. So when we say profit, diba, you have to subtract yung kita mo, ima-minusan mo ng kung ano yung nagastos mo. Therefore, the net annual profit is equal to the annual revenue minus the annual cost. Susulat muna natin lahat ng given sa problem. So, the capital investment or the initial investment is equal to 270,000 pesos. Then, yung annual revenue is equal to 185,400 for 5 years. Then, meron siyang salvage value na 10% of the first investment or the capital investment. So 10% of 270,000, that is 27,000 pesos. Then out-of-pocket costs for operation and maintenance would be 81,000 per year. So there is operation and maintenance, 81,000 pesos per year. Then next is yung taxes and insurance. It would be 4% of the first cost per year. So 4% of 270,000 per year. So 4.4% of this is 10,800 per year. Therefore, you already have the annual revenue. Everything here is the cost. So in ROR method, you have to compute for the depreciation. So usually, yung depreciation is included sa annual costs. So since meron natin annual revenue, kunin natin yung annual cost. So annual cost would consist of depreciation. So
the method that we will be using is the sinking fund formula kasi ina-account niya yung money or the interest of money. So depreciation is equal to C sub O minus C sub L over F given A at I percent L years. Diba? Yan yung sa depreciation sa sinking fund formula. Meaning there is a fund na na-accumulate so that ma-count yung cost of depreciation dun sa annual cost. So C sub O minus C sub L, the original cost is yung 270,000. So 270,000 minus 27,000 na salvage value. Ito, all over F given A at 25% interest rate yung gagamitin natin. Then, 5 years na life. So this is equal to 29,609 pesos. So ito na yung first. Second is yung operation and maintenance. So this is 81,000 per year. Notice that this is per year for 5 years. Yung annual cost of depreciation. And then next is yung taxes and insurance. That is 10,800 per year.
As a summary, the annual revenue is 185,400. The annual cost consists of the depreciation, that is 29,609, the operation and maintenance, 81,000 pesos, taxes and insurance, 4% of the first cost, that is 10,800. The total annual cost is 121,409. So when we say the net annual profit, it is equal to the annual revenue minus the annual cost. So 185,400 minus 121,409, that's equal to 63,991. Therefore, the rate of return is equal to 63,991 over the capital invested, which is 270,000, times 100 is equal to 23%. Since the rate of return is less than 25%, in which the 25% is what the company expects to earn, this investment is not justified. The next method is the annual worth method. So in this method, interest on the original investment, or sometimes called the minimum required profit, is included as a cost. If the excess of annual cash inflows over annual cash outflows is not less than zero, the proposed investment is justified or is valid. Let's use the same example that we used in the ROR, or rate of return method example. So same, an investment of 270,000 can be made in a project that will produce a uniform annual revenue of 185,400 for 5 years and then have a salvage value of 10% of the investment. Out-of-pocket costs for operation and maintenance will be 81,000 pesos per year. Taxes and insurance will be 4% of the first cost per year, and the company expects capital to earn not less than 25% before income taxes. Is this a desirable investment?
So in the annual worth method or AW method, you have to get the annual cash inflow and annual cash outflow. Then you have to compare the values of the two. The difference with ROR is you have to compute the interest on capital, then include mo siya sa cash outflow or sa costs. So from the annual revenue, yun yung cash inflow natin, given siya sa problem, that is 185,400. Sa cash outflow naman, same with ROR, you have to compute for the depreciation. Again, same sinking fund formula, 270,000 per C sub O minus C sub L na 27,000 all over F given A at 25% interest rate for 5 years. That is equal to 29,609 pesos. Then operation and maintenance, same with ROR, that is 81,000 per year. Then taxes and insurance, 4% of the initial cost, that is the 270,000, is equal to 10,800 per year. Then you have to include in the cash outflow yung interest on capital. So since yung gusto ng company or expected ng company is 25%, so the interest on capital must be 25% of the first cost or the initial investment na 270,000. So 25% of that is 67,500. So you add all this, the total would be 188,909. So if the annual cash inflow is greater than or equal to the annual cash outflow, then the investment is justified. But as you can see, this is greater than the cash inflow. Therefore, nag-excess siya ng more than 3,000.
The total annual cost is 188,909, and that is 3,509 pesos in excess with the annual revenue. Since the excess of annual cash inflows over annual cash flows is less than zero or negative, the investment is not justified. Third method is the present worth method or PW method. So this pattern for economic studies is based on the concept of present worth. If the present worth of the net cash flows is equal to or greater than zero, the project is justified economically. The present worth method is flexible and can be used for any type of economy study. It is used extensively in making economy studies in the public works field where long-lived structures are involved. Again, we will use the same example that we used in the ROR method and the annual worth method. So now let's solve the same example using the present worth method. So by the present worth method, you have to get the present worth of all the cash inflows and all the cash outflows. So in this slide, you can see the cash flow diagram of the cash inflows. So from the problem, it stated that there's an annual revenue of 185,400 pesos per year or annually for 5 years. As you can see, since it's revenue, it's a cash inflow to the company. So arrow up, so there are 5 arrow up that represents the annual revenue and another arrow up that represents the salvage value. So the salvage value is 10% of the initial investment. So 10% of 270,000 pesos is equal to 27,000 pesos. So the present worth of cash inflows is equal to 185,400 multiplied to P given A at 25% for 5 years plus 27,000 multiplied to P given F at 25% for 5 years. So that is equal to 506,370. We will also get the present worth of all the cash outflows. So first, here at year 0, the cash outflow is yung initial investment na 270,000. And then, annual costs, here in present worth method, by the way, you will exclude depreciation. So, only the operation and maintenance lang na 81,000 from the problem again, plus yung taxes and insurance na 4% of the initial investment. So 4% of 270,000 pesos. So 81,000 plus 4% of 270,000 pesos, which is 10,800. That's a total of 91,800. So as you can see, that's annual costs. Kaya siya arrowed down, meaning cash outflow from year 1 to year 5. So uh, the present worth of all cash outflows is yung 270,000 plus 91,800. Then B, given A at 25% interest for 5 years. That is a total of 516,880. So now we have to get the present worth of the net cash flow. We just have to subtract cash inflow minus cash outflow. So since the cash outflow is greater than the cash inflow and it is in excess of 10,510 pesos. Since the present worth of the net cash flows is less than zero, negative 10,510 to be exact, the investment is not justified. So as you have noticed, no, both ROR and annual worth uh, show that it is not a justified investment. The present worth method then does not satisfy na or does not justify the investment. So another method is yung future worth method. So for economy studies, the future worth method is exactly comparable to the present worth method, except that all cash flow inflows and outflows are compounded forward to a reference point in time called the future. So if the future worth of the net cash flows is equal to or greater than zero, the project is justified economically. So again, with the same example, so instead of present worth, magiging future worth na siya. So we'll move the uh, cash flow to the future. So let's say at year 5. So same um, cash flow diagram with the present worth method. It's just that kinuha natin yung future worth. So, 27,000, that is already in year 5, dun sa previous natin na cash flow. So, diretso na, i-add mo yung 27,000 without multiplying anything. Then, kunin mo yung future worth of the annuity na 185,400 with 25 interest for 5 years. So that is a total of 1,548,580. For the cash outflows naman, you have to get the future worth of the annuity na cash outflow na annual cost na 91,800 multiplied to F given A at 25% for 5 years plus yung future worth ng 270,000. So that is multiplied to F given P at 25%, 5 years. So that is 1,577,390. So the future worth of the net cash flow is the future worth of cash inflow minus cash outflow. So 1.548580 million minus 1,577,390,000 or 390 pesos is equal to negative 28,810 pesos. So since the future worth of the net cash flows is less than zero, that is negative 28,810 to be exact, the investment is not justified. So the last method is yung payback or payout period method. So the payback period is commonly defined as the length of time required to recover the first cost of an investment from the net cash flow produced by that investment for an interest rate of zero. So in this case, hindi na mag-matter yung interest rate ng money. So the payout period in years is equal to the investment minus the salvage value all over the net annual cash flow. So again, we'll be using the same example. So the solution by the payback method, the total annual cost is 81,000 plus 10,800 for taxes and insurance. That is 4% of 270,000. So it's equivalent to 91,800. Well, the net annual cash flows is the annual um, revenue minus the total annual cost. So 185,400 minus 91,800 is equivalent to 93,600. So the payback period is equal to investment, that is 270,000, minus the salvage value, 27,000, all over the net annual cash flows, the 93,600, that is equivalent to 2.6 years. So in computing the total annual cost, depreciation was not included because the method does not consider the time value of money or interest. So the use of the payback period for making investment decisions should be avoided as it may produce misleading results. So a reminder, only the ROR method and the annual worth method uses depreciation included just a cost. The difference between ROR and annual worth is that yung annual worth i-include sa cost yung interest on capital. Yung present worth, future worth does not include depreciation as costs. Kunin mo lang lahat ng present worth or future worth ng inflow and outflow, then subtract the two, inflow minus outflow. So if it's negative or less than zero, then the investment is not justified. Then ito naman yung last, yung payback method. So I hope you learned something from this video. Please check the classwork section because I will post an assignment. Then we'll have a quiz next meeting. So thank you and have a nice day.